If you get out of the rat race, you save up a couple $100,000. I think you should not always be rushing in your 20s. I think you should enjoy life. You're going to learn some fundamental skills when you have a dropshipping business. You can take them and you can use them in like kind of branch off or open other doors in life. You kind of just have to try it. Like just start with one thing. Like start with dropshipping and then like see how you like it. Be conscious of what you like about it, what you don't like about it. Every single person should be healthier. And if you feel good, then you'll think good. Money is really important. Anybody that says it's not is lying to you. If I had $0 and zero income.
I went to Scottsdale, Arizona to meet one incredible guy, a guy many people look up to because of his crazy achievements at such a young age. Really an inspiration for many young folks out there. He's traveled around the globe, bought his dream car, built his dream house, all this by the age of 24. Today, I'm revealing the interview I had with Sebastian Ghiorghiu. Let's get right into it. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, man. And thank you for letting me in this beautiful place, man. That's your office, right?
This is the office, yes.
So
the office that we have.
Amazing place. And you even pulled up on me with a new car, I guess.
Yeah, we got the 720S. You know, I was trying to impress my friend from another country, so.
Nice. That's a beautiful car.
Hopefully it worked.
Well, it worked for me at least, so that's great. I want to kick this amazing episode, talking about business and talking about a little bit of your journey so far. When did you realize that, okay, you're going to be successful?
I didn't really believe that when I started everything out. That like confidence that you're describing comes in waves after you have achieved something that you have set out for yourself. When I was like 17, 18, I didn't really believe that I did not believe I could be where I am today, for sure. Like I didn't think this was a possibility. I wanted it very badly, but I didn't know that it could happen. I didn't know if it was even real. But like I said, that confidence started to come in waves when I kept on trying and I got into dropshipping and like I made $400 in a day. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is interesting. And then I made $1,000 in a day, and then I made $2,500 in a day, and I keep pushing it. And every time you kind of reach a new high or a new level, your confidence goes up. So now if you've made $2,500 in a day, you look at $1,000 a day and you're like, well, that's easy. I can do that. But $1,000 a day is a lot of money to a lot of people. And so, yeah, you keep pushing that needle and you get more and more confident. So yeah, it's cool. And then I remember making like 20 and then 50,000 in a day. And then I remember making 100K in a day profit. Well, I made 70K trading on one trade. And I was in my mom's house in her room, and I opened a trade in the middle of the night and I made $70,000. And I was like, okay, that's dope. And then I made 100, and then the most I've ever made on a day profit was 150.
Okay.
So that's like where the bar is at now.
Yeah. So you were telling there was no specific moment where you maybe called your mom and you told her like, hey, I may be not successful right now, but I know I will be soon, or something like that?
Not that, but when I started posting, when I was doing dropshipping and I was posting on YouTube and stuff, and like I started to have like a few income sources, and I remember doing a spreadsheet on Google Sheets. I was with my high school friends at the time, and I like made $10,000 in December of whatever year. That's when I looked at it and I was like, I made 10 grand this month. And that's when I was like, something kind of flipped in me a little bit. I think I did mention that to my mom. And then like my mom kind of never really asked or like paid attention too much. Like I always went to her to tell her. But I think when I made like 50 grand in a month or 35, I don't remember. I just remember telling my mom this, and I was like, when I made 35 or 50K in a month, I went to her and she was asking like, what am I doing? Because people are kind of starting to talk, and I'm like buying some cool stuff, and I'm always going like, I'm starting to spend money. And she's like, where is this money coming from? And I like with a huge ego, I was like, do you know how much I made last month?
No. Yeah.
And I was like, she's like, no. And I was like, whatever I said, it was either 35 or like 50. I was like 35 grand. And she's like, like, how did you do that? And I was like, I felt super cool. But yeah, I would say that was like an interesting moment when I told my mom, and she kind of started to flip.
Why do you think you're successful?
Because I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in just the situation I grew up in combination with my risk tolerance. Like I don't think about it too much. I kind of, how people are like the overthinkers, where they're always thinking about the exact right way to do something. That's one end of the spectrum. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have somebody that's just completely impulsive. I'm on the left side. I'm more like, okay, whatever, just let's try it. Let's just go. Like I'm throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks. So I've done a lot of things that have failed. I've started businesses and done things and I've lost money. I've been scammed. Like because of my risk tolerance, I'm like I have a greater risk tolerance, high risk, high reward, you know. But I think that helped me because I wasn't like paralyzed, like I wasn't stuck. Like I didn't really know where I was going. I was in the dark, but I was just like, just got to keep walking, like just got to keep going, even though I don't know what's going on or where I'm going. So I think that's another ingredient to it. But I would say those two things. Like I don't think about it too much. I just kind of go and I kind of do. And obviously I had a lot of motivation because of how I grew up.
Yeah, of course. I think that makes a lot of sense. I guess you're goal driven, right? You're driven by goals, right?
I would say so, yeah.
So I guess you set your objectives and then you create your plan and then you work towards achieving all of the stepping stones and everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. My goal is like, for example, like G Residences is like the huge skyscraper building. Yep. You might have seen like a picture of it. Maybe.
Of course, I was like, what's that?
That's a vision that I have. So that's one of my goals for sure. And my goal is having a huge family and beautiful kids.
Nice. So I have a question there. How do you stay connected and driven by those big goals that take probably years to achieve?
Yeah, this is a long time away. This is like the final thing that I want to do. Like I don't know where, if I would go bigger, like maybe I would, but like this is a very long, far away goal. Maybe like in my late 30s or 40s. How do I stay connected to it? Well, I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm always connected to it. I'm thinking about it. It's in my room on top of my safe. I see it every single morning I wake up. But I know it's going to happen one day. I'm not going to like try to rush it. I'm just going to kind of like, there's another thing is because there's also like a culture of working super hard in your early 20s and like just, which is great, you should. But I feel like if you get out of the initial like rat race, like let's say like you save up a couple $100,000, I think you should not always be rushing in your 20s. I think you should enjoy life. Like I think youth is so valuable. They call it what? Biological capital, biological currency. So, and that starts to wither away and you can never get it back. So when you have in your 20s, like this is the best time of your life. Like the youth is the best part. And I want to enjoy it. So if that means buying another car and let's say traveling somewhere and that's going to slow me down in the long run, like based on how money compounds, if I buy the money here and I don't invest it, by the time I retire, I'm probably going to lose like $20 million because money compounds, right? Yeah. That's fine. I don't care. Like I would rather be 65 and let's say I'm a billionaire. I'd rather have 20 million less dollars and say I had a McLaren when I was 24.
Right.
So I would make that trade any day. Obviously within reason. I'm not saying like you should go and spend all of your money on a supercar. I'm saying that if the money isn't really going to affect it, if it's like a relatively small portion of what you have, then yes, you should spend it, as long as it's not going to like significantly slow down your progress. Like there's a snowball building, and if you're not going to cut off the snowball in half and then have to like kind of restart, then yeah, don't do that. But like if it's just like a little chip off, then who cares? Like just do it.
Honestly, it's such a good way to see life because the 20s are precious and it's a one-time thing. Life is a one-time thing for sure, but what would you say are the 3 things that keeps people from succeeding nowadays as a 20-year-old entrepreneur?
I would say one of them is their own limiting beliefs. They don't think that it's real and they don't think it can happen. That's always going to stop you, because if you don't believe something is real, then you're always actively going to look for ways to not validate that thing. So it's just not going to work. Like if you don't believe that you can get jacked, you're not going to get jacked. It applies with anything in life. If you don't believe in ghosts, there are no ghosts. I would say another thing is information. So people need better information. You need more access to information, to good information. And then I would say there's a third one, but I'm not sure. I would have to think about it. I'm trying to think of people that like are in my life that are not like that. I don't know. Like for me, what comes to my mind is like they don't want it bad enough. Like they don't want it. Like the reason why they're trying to do it in the first place isn't like the strongest reason. Maybe that's why. Like the person that is trying to make money because he grew up in a really shitty situation and he doesn't want to give that to his family, versus the guy that wants to get rich because he wants to have a Lambo and have a bunch of hoes. Those are 2 very different reasons of wanting to make money. Yeah. And I think that getting rich from a source of pain is a lot more like a longer lasting motivational burn versus like that other thing. But maybe, I don't know, maybe you're super insecure and you want to have a lot of money and like you want to be seen with a lot of girls. So I would say maybe they just don't And that sounds super bad, but like they just don't want it bad enough. Like they don't have like a good enough why as to why they're doing it in the first place. What do you think? I mean, you're young and successful. What do you think?
First off, thank you for asking the question, but I think what you said is entirely true. People are not only not wanting it enough, but I think they have a really low risk tolerance where they're never ready to take a risk. And if we take your journey as an example, you've took countless of risk. Like you've put yourself in probably some crazy situations where I'm sure your mindset was, I don't give a shit, I'm just gonna go through it and I'm gonna make it happen. But I think people don't have this mindset of I'm gonna go through it and I'm willing to take any risks that comes my way. And I think, well, that basically translates to wanting it bad enough. That's like another component of having this burning desire of doing things. And talking about information, like I think I want to ask you a question about it, because there's so many information out there. There's so many things to learn. There's so many things to do. There's crypto. There's NFTs. There's e-com. There's social media marketing. There's so many things and avenues people can go with. So how would you recommend someone that is searching up what to do, that has thousands of options and that is kind of getting lost in the information rabbit hole? How can someone be, okay, like that sounds like a good options to me?
That's $1 million question right there. The answer I give is it's hard for me to tell what business people should start because everybody has strengths and weaknesses that I don't know. So you might do better at a certain thing based on your character in life. And I don't know who you are. I don't know like what your strengths are. So it's hard for me to answer that question and say, oh, you should definitely do this unless I really get to know a person. I will say that dropshipping is always a great place to start. You're going to learn some fundamental skills when you have a dropshipping business. And I think those skills, you can take them and you can use them in like kind of branch off or open other doors in life. So I'm biased because I started with dropshipping and we teach dropshipping and kids make a lot of money and then they go into other directions with it. They grow their own flower out of it. So I'm biased. I always say dropshipping, but it just depends on the type of person that you are. And I don't know who you are.
Of course, yeah. No, there's thousands of kind of personalities out there, and people,
you kind of just have to try it. Like just start with one thing. Like start with dropshipping and then like see how you like it. Be conscientious of what you like about it, what you don't like about it. Keep these things in mind, and then like if you go and explore other businesses, you can try those as well and see if like the pros outweigh the cons in the other business, or if like you have more of a natural talent, or you're just better off with those things. Like I don't know. You just have to start somewhere and collect some information and then build off that and then go somewhere else.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think just starting is that's like the most important point. That's like the most important place or thing to do. And maybe that's something people don't do. And I think that's something we should add in the top 3 things people should do is freaking start.
Just start.
Just get things done. And considering this conversation we're having about business and dropshipping, e-com and everything, what would be your few steps plan on how to make your first $1 million online, knowing all that you know right now?
Okay, if I had $0 and no income.
Hold on. Would you put yourself in a like dark room and just work? And
I would probably work a lot. I wouldn't be there all the time though. If I had $0 and zero income, I would get a job, or I'd get like a sales job where my performance could make me more money. Because then if I work really hard, I'll make a lot of money. I would start there, and then I would start dropshipping again. I would try to build a brand, not like a brand, but not like dropshipping where like in the in between. There needs to be a name for that. I would do that. I mean, I would probably also start an agency too. Like these are all things that I do. Like I have an agency right now. I'm actually gonna start a store with Sebastian Ghiorghiu next month. So we're gonna start dropshipping again. I would probably do dropshipping and do an agency both combined and just build up as much capital as I probably can. I don't know if I would trade or not. Probably not, because that's more gambly. But ultimately, I would do those 2 things until I had about 300K saved up, and then I would build a house, because that's great. And then the house, if you did it right, that'd get you to $1 million. So.
With real estate. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now. The house I'm building, I'll make over $1 million profit on it. And I came out of my pocket, like it's gonna run me like 500K, 600K out of my pocket, but you don't have to build like a big house.
So get the money first, right?
So get a job, then use the steady income to like dropship or start an agency or do both, and then save up and then build a house.
And yeah, that's really practical. I think the most challenging part when you're starting out is all this like internal work that you got to do, because this is really practical, and it seems so simple, right? Like you do this, you do this, you do this. And honestly, it's not that complicated. Like,
it's not complicated, but it is difficult.
I want to continue this conversation with, again, your knowledge, as always. But you've got a great group of friends. And, to name a few, like Iman, Gadzi, you're friend with him, friend with Luke. Amazing people. And I want to know, what's one of the biggest learning that you've got from them?
From those people?
Yes, from learning from them, from being around them. What's your biggest learning?
Do you want like the biggest thing I learned from Luke and from Iman, or just like a general, like my friends?
Your friends.
It's a broad question. It's hard for me to answer like the specific things that I've gotten. I will say that I kind of cherry pick things from like all of my friends that they do really well, that I look up to them in certain ways. So I've learned some of my friends work a lot harder than I do. Some of my friends are a lot smarter, like the way they think about business, than I am. So yeah, there's certain characteristics in everyone that I really look up to, at least one. And I kind of take that and I try to bring it into my own life and do it myself. But I really respect how some of my friends think and how hard some of my friends work, I would say. I think the one thing I got from Luke is always, like, he's big on new information. He's big on, he'd call it data sets, but he's big on new information and like building like the garden and always having like a crazy network, which I didn't realize the value as much until I saw like what he was doing. Iman he taught me about fashion. That's something I learned from him. Like he's good at carrying himself. He's good at how he portrays himself, and that's one thing that I learned from him for sure.
Okay, that's interesting. Iman taught you fashion, and it's true though, because he's a classy guy.
Yeah,
really. You're a builder. You want to build things, so maybe you see life as just an opportunity for you to build your stuff and to leave your legacy and to impact people and to bring joy to other people and to help people. I don't know, like I guess that's interesting. Maybe even the audience should ask themselves, how do I see life, and like what do I want from it and what do I want to do with it? Because
you should absolutely ask yourself this question.
Yeah,
I don't think people do that, for sure. Asking yourself what you want and why you want it, and where does that why come from. Mm-hmm. And then I think people will get lost there. And that's scary, because it's like, it's hard if you don't know what you want out of life, or if you know you want something out of life but you don't even know why you want it. That's very uncomfortable, because now you're kind of like existential in a way. You're like, well, what's the point of all this? Like, what am I doing? So I think people don't enter those uncharted waters in their mind, which, I mean, it's a scary, dangerous place, but it's good to answer those questions. It's good to know, because then you have solid ground to stand on.
Right.
You know?
Are you always like that? Like always aligned with that purpose that you have for yourself?
I know what I want, and I know why I want it.
Okay.
And I know this is why I'm doing it, and you need to know these things, because along the journey, if you don't even know why, like you're gonna be like, well, why am I even doing this? Like, what's the point?
Yep.
So you need to know these things, and you need to be, and the thing is, they could change. That's okay. Like, they could change. Your why for doing something could change, or your path can get split and you have to take a different direction, which is fine. It happens to me. It recently has happened to me, and that's fine. But you just adapt and you move forward,
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I think, as you said, people should work on that, because without it, you're kind of always lost, like you said.
It's just scary, but I think the best things are on the other side of fear.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
God made it that way.
Yeah. And do you oftentimes put yourself in a situation where you can challenge those fears for yourself?
Yes.
Always?
Not always, but I do.
Okay.
I do, yeah. I tend to do this thing when when everything is going well, I like mess something up just to have to fix it, But I'm always searching for novelty. Right. For something new, like something different, for sure. Yeah. But I'm not going to go skydiving.
No way, no.
I'm not going to go skydiving.
No.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Maybe one day I'll do it.
Are you scared that the parachute will not open or something?
I absolutely hate the feeling that I get when I go, when my stomach drops. I hate that feeling. I went on a roller coaster when I was really young, and I hated it, every second of it. I didn't know what to expect, and I went on a pretty intense roller coaster, and I felt sick for the whole day, and it just made me feel gross. I hated that feeling. And I always hated roller coasters. And then last year, almost to this exact day, maybe like a week ago last year, I went to Missouri to visit some of my cousin-in-laws, like some of my distant relatives that I'm really close with. And we went to a theme park in Missouri, or Kansas City or somewhere. I think it's called Silver Dollar City. And everyone was going on roller coasters, and I was like, I'm not doing it. And everyone would go on the roller coaster, and I would sit, and one of my cousins has a baby, and I would like watch the child.
No way.
While they were going on a roller coaster, and I wouldn't do it, and I felt like a bitch because I didn't want to do it because I hated that feeling. But everyone was kind of like making fun of me, and they were like, you got to do it. Just go on one. Just got to do this one. And I told them, I'm like, I would go on it and I would feel sick and I would throw up for the rest of the day. Like, I don't want to put myself in that situation. Yeah. Anyway, because I made I felt bad, and I was like, okay, this is stupid. I'm not going to sit here and watch the baby while everyone goes on a roller coaster. They took me to one, and it was the fastest one in the whole park. It gets up to like 90 miles an hour, but it's quick. It's like maybe 30 seconds. Okay. So I was like, okay, this one is quick. I'll get in, I'll hate it, and it'll be done super quick. So I got in the line to do it, and I was looking back because the thing is I couldn't see the roller coaster when I got in the line. So I got in the line. They're like, this one's super easy. I got in the line. People started coming behind us. We got closer, closer, and then as you get closer to the line, you see. Like, you can see the end of it when it comes back around, and it was flying. Oh, no way. It was flying, and it did 2 barrel rolls, and they lied to me. I was like, does it go upside down? Does it do barrel rolls? And they were like, no, it doesn't. And then I got to the front of the line, and then I saw that it does, and they were like, and then they started laughing. They're like, you can't go back now. And now it adds a whole different element to it because now there's like 50 people, and if I turn away, like, that's going to be humiliating. Yes. So I was like, Seb, you just got to do it, dude. You just got to do it. Damn. And I was terrified, bro. The truth is I was terrified, but I got on it and we went through the roller coaster and I was screaming. But when it was all finished, I got out and I was really, really glad that I went on it. It was actually a little bit of fun. Like, before I hated it. Now I'm like, okay, roller coasters are kind of fun. And then 3, I also recognized that I was just afraid. I was really, really afraid because of that. When I was a kid, and it was traumatizing, and I was like coping by saying like, oh, it makes me feel sick, this and that. Like, even after that one, I felt like a little bit woozy, but it was fun, and I'm glad I did it.
Bro, that's crazy. So I know, I wish one day for your surprise birth there was someone bring you on a skydiving tour. That would be funny as hell.
How long are you in the air for? Like 2 minutes?
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, I mean, if it's like objectively, if I want to do something that I'm afraid of or it's really uncomfortable,
I think Dubai it's cool though.
Dubai would be a great place. As long as I don't have to be in it for a long time. Like, if I can just be strong for a little bit of time and get through it, I think I'm now, because of that situation, I'm more willing to do that.
Absolutely.
Also, like, the cold plunge is a great example of it too. It's like, you don't want to get in there, but I did a cold plunge for the first time for 3 minutes, like a month and a half ago. And that is another one of the things where it's like, it's really, really painful and uncomfortable, but it's only a couple minutes. Like, you can just push through it and really dig deep for a couple minutes. So.
And like the worst part is like the few seconds like before getting in and the few seconds in.
Yeah.
But like after that it gets more comfortable, I guess. Yeah. And I want to ask like a good last question because I value your time, of course.
Thank you.
And what would you say all humans and all entrepreneurs should work on more? It can be, you know, anything about themselves, anything about the external environment, but what is one thing, whatever, how many advices you want to give, but what is one thing everyone should work on more?
Okay, well, I'm going to give really lame and unprofound advice.
Let's go.
But it's great advice. I think every single person should be healthier. I think you should all be healthier. There's a lot more that you could do. Eat better food, sleep better, drink less alcohol, smoke less cigarettes, and be healthier. Just be healthy because you'll feel good. And if you feel good, then you'll think good. Like, if you feel great, then your mood will be great. Your mind will change. And if you feel shit, your mind will be shit. So it starts with your body. You know, you could be in a great mood but feel like crap and still not do anything. So I would say eat healthier. And it's, yeah, that's the best. That is like, you know, like the pyramid chart of like needs. Being healthy and taking care of your body and your vessel, I think, is the most fundamental bottom layer, just the most important. Start there.
Nice.
So lame advice, everyone. You've heard that a million times, but this is what's made a big improvement for me. This is what's.
I guess that's your recent
Yeah.
Focus too. No, that's good. That's amazing. So be healthier, focus on money first, and if you combine both, I guess you got a formula for success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, I'm religious. I would say focus on God, focus on your relationships. Money is really important. Anybody that says it's not is lying to you. But your health is number one. Mm-hmm. Your health, for me, my relationship with God is number one. Then it's my health, and then it's everything else.
That's amazing, brother. Thank you for your time, brother.
Of course.
It's been a good time. So
Thank you
thank
for
you guys
coming all the way out here.
Yeah, of course, bro. Of course. So thank you guys for tuning in. And if you enjoyed the episode, make sure to leave a 5-star review. It's been a great time, man. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.